Okay, so when I cut a mold, when you guys are first learning, you should pretty much always solder your button on. So you can see right there, that's my sprue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carve a zigzag pattern around the outside. I keep this on because that's going to help me hold it. This is my clamp. So I start, find the sprue, make sure your scalpel is sharp. I'm going to actually put a new one on, and since I'm putting a new one on, I'll show you how to remove this one. So what I do, because scalpels are so sharp, I always just flip that up, pull it off at the end there, and then you get a new one, assuming you can find where your scalpel blades are. Oh, great. Let's see here. I usually have some out. So, grab a new scalpel blade. Be very careful with your scalpels, obviously. Now I use number 11s because I like a straight blade so I can see exactly what's going on. So there's a little slot right there. Scalpel blade goes in that slot and just hold it back there and give it a little push. Make sure that slides into position. Now I like to cut my molds hot as well because they cut a little bit easier. So I go straight, then I make a tooth. Now these are registration teeth. These are going to hold the mold together in the right position. So I'm just going to cut some teeth. It's important, notice I'm not going very deep. It's important to know what piece you're carving, so it's always harder to cut a mold when somebody else has packed it. I like to pack the molds myself so I know what I'm removing. And I go all the way around. Careful that you're not pushing so hard that you zigzag out. And I cut right through there. I don't want to do that. You see how I'm keeping my fingers away. If I do cut through, I don't want to run into my hand. And then, there we go. So that's my first part. Now I'm going to put the mold in here, and I'm going to cut it. See this white part? This is where it's got the most tension. That's important. That's where it's going to want to cut the easiest. So I'm kind of using it in my favor. I'm going to follow the mold line down, follow the sprue down to the piece. As I get over here, I have a tooth going that direction. So I cut up just a little bit. And I'm just moving the clamp around so that I can see where everything is. There's my piece right there. I want to cut to one side. This is a fairly flat piece, not a ring, so I don't have to worry about too much. I'm cutting towards the back here. Now some people use Rapido. I personally don't like it. Although it cuts easier and smoothly, it cuts so easy that you have less control. So I always say that although it's easier to cut, it's hard to cut a rubber mold using it, in my opinion. Now some people have allergies and they can't use this stuff. I don't have such problems. So I'm just kind of following the edge of this along. I don't want to cut the piece out all the way yet. As I get there, I know this piece here, I can grab it and pull it out. I'm just going to do that so that I can see this. And you see how there's no lip on this side hardly? That's going to let that side of the mold come off easier. And it's also going to mean my mold line is right along the edge. Now, this is a piece of cuttlefish casting that I'm molding because I liked it. I don't mold all my cuttlefish, but when I come up with a one that I really like, I do. So now I suppose I should show you. I've gone past the piece. I've already gone beyond it. So now I'm just going to cut my edge here, and I'm just going to zigzag it. And this is just, like I said, this just helps keep the mold together in one piece so that both sides of the mold line up. And that's it. That's the two halves. This side I'm not really doing anything with. I don't really like that little notch there. It's going to cause a mold. This little thing here, that's going to cause a little mold line on the back of my piece, but it's not such a big deal. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to actually carve a vent line out here and one out here, so that when the air goes in, or sorry, when the wax goes in, the air has somewhere to go. And then I just grab onto this here. Now it's still pretty hot, and I just use my scalpel, work my way around here. Now I could cut this off with scissors as well. Cut right through. So you'll notice I cut this on an angle. I did that because when the plate goes along, it keeps all the pressure to the middle of the mold. I'm not sure how big of a deal that is, but one of my casters told me that's what he does, and he seems to think it matters. So I thought, you know what, seems reasonable. And I also have my name engraved on my plates so that all my molds come out with my name on both sides. You can just see there. And then I don't have to worry about losing my molds. And then I will inject that. And that's it. That's that little sparrow that I did in cuttlefish. And fun, fun, fun. Hope it was useful.